My name's Ryan, and I wasn't planning to have my life turned upside down that day. I just wanted to do something nice. Julia, my wife, had started a new job a couple of weeks ago. Some consulting firm downtown with glass walls and an espresso machine in the lobby. She said it was a step up, something more dynamic. Whatever that meant. Honestly, I was proud of her. After everything we'd been through, job changes, pandemic stress, the rocky patches we'd managed to smooth over, it felt like things were finally settling. She was getting up earlier, wearing lipstick again, smiling more. I thought we were finding our rhythm. So yeah, I wanted to ride that wave. Surprise her with lunch like I used to back when we were dating. Keep things fun. Keep things alive. I left the office around 11:45, told my manager I had errands. Hit up this little sushi bar near her building, not too fancy, but legit. It was the spot she always mentioned when we passed by. Next time we're going there, she'd say. I ordered 2 spicy tuna rolls, miso soup, and a mango mochi she liked, figuring we'd eat together for 20 minutes, maybe laugh a little, break up the day. I even texted her, "You better be hungry, I've got something on the way." She didn't reply, which wasn't unusual, I guess. She was always in back-to-back meetings now. The walk to her office felt weirdly exciting. I remember actually whistling, which is so out of character for me it's embarrassing to even admit. I stopped outside the building, looked up at the mirrored glass, and thought, man, I'm lucky. She's really something. And then I went in. The sushi bar was just off the lobby, dim lighting, quiet hum of jazz, smell of soy sauce and citrus. The kind of place where people talk low and lean close. It took me a second to adjust, my eyes still adjusting to the light. I scanned the tables, trying to spot her. And then I did. Far end of the restaurant. Booth by the window. Julia. Her dark red blouse. Hair up in that clip I got her for Christmas. She was sitting sideways, body angled toward the guy across from her like he was the most interesting person in the world. I stopped walking. Couldn't even take another step. I just stood there, half-shadowed near the hostess stand, clutching that damn lunch bag like a delivery guy who'd gotten the wrong address. The man she was with had his back to me, but I could see enough. White button-down shirt, sleeves rolled, watch on his wrist. Not some intern. He looked her age. Confident. Comfortable. His hand rested on the table, barely an inch from hers. Then he moved it forward, just enough to lay his fingers over hers. Not aggressively, like he'd done it before, like it was allowed. And Julia didn't flinch. She smiled, leaned in, said something I couldn't hear. Then, I swear to God, she reached out and fixed his tie. It was this tiny, domestic gesture. Int asterisk mate. Familiar. The kind of thing you do when you've seen someone up close before. When you've shared more than words. I think I stopped breathing. I know that sounds dramatic, but it was like my body went numb. Couldn't blink. Couldn't think. I watched as he brushed a strand of hair from her cheek. Just reached out and did it. And she let him. She actually leaned into it. I felt like I was watching a stranger wear my wife's face. My first thought, and I hate that this was my first thought, was maybe this is a misunderstanding. Maybe she's catching up with an old friend. Maybe he's gay. Maybe he's one of those weirdly affectionate coworkers. My brain scrambled to find some way, anyway, to explain what I was seeing. To reframe it. To undo it. But no version made sense. Not with the way she smiled at him. Not with the way her eyes lit up like they used to with me. Not with the way her body language screamed comfort, attraction, desire. That's when it hit me. That light she used to look at me with? The sparkle? The way her whole face softened when she saw me walk through the door? I hadn't seen that in a while. Maybe months. And now I knew why. I don't know how long I stood there. 30 seconds? A minute? Long enough for the hostess to glance at me, then glance away, like she wasn't sure if she should say something. Long enough for the soy sauce in the bag to leak slightly and dampen the bottom of the paper. I didn't walk over. I didn't make a scene. I didn't yell or cry or tap her on the shoulder like some sad movie character. I just turned around, walked out of the restaurant, and made my way back to the car. I sat in the driver's seat, sushi bag on the passenger side, hands on the wheel, just staring ahead like I was trying to remember how to operate a vehicle. My mind kept replaying the moment her fingers touched his tie. Over and over like a broken record. I felt heat in my face, cold in my chest. My ears were ringing. I checked my phone again. No response to the text I'd sent 20 minutes earlier. No sign she even noticed I was there. And that's when something cracked. I think deep down, some part of me had already known. Not consciously, but little things had started to feel off lately. She wasn't cold, exactly, but distant, less present, less there. Her laugh came quicker when she looked at her phone than when she looked at me. She got more calls that she had to take in the other room, more business trips, more last-minute dinners she didn't invite me to. But I never wanted to be that guy, the suspicious one, the one who checked phones or asked too many questions. I trusted her. She was my wife. I drove for a while. No destination. Just blocks and turns, city streets blurring into each other. Every time I hit a red light, I looked at that damn paper bag. Her lunch. Her favorite. Now cold. Useless. Just like whatever I thought we still had. I ended up tossing it into a trash can outside a CVS. Not out of anger. It just felt pathetic to keep it. Like holding on to the idea of us was just another wasted gesture. That night, I didn't say anything. Didn't confront her. I went home before she did. Sat on the couch with the TV on but couldn't tell you what was playing. She walked in around 6, smiled, kissed my cheek like nothing had happened. I smiled back, said, "How was work?" And she said, "Busy. Meetings all day." Just like that. A lie told like it was a fact. Smooth. Effortless. Practiced. I nodded. Didn't push. Didn't blink. But I knew. Everything changed in that moment. Not because I saw her cheating, but because she looked me in the eye and lied like it was breathing. And I knew right then, this wasn't going away. I didn't bring it up that night. I didn't have the strength. Julia acted like everything was normal. Told me about a spreadsheet error some intern made, how she had to fix it before the client saw. She poured herself a glass of red, curled up on the couch, and scrolled through her phone while I sat beside her in silence, pretending to watch a cooking competition. I couldn't look at her without picturing that guy's hand on hers. The way she played with his tie. Her smile. God, that smile. I barely slept. I lay in bed next to her, staring at the ceiling, wondering if she could feel how tense my body was. Every time she shifted or sighed, I flinched. At some point I turned toward the wall and closed my eyes, trying not to let my mind go where it wanted to go. Trying not to imagine what they talked about, where else they might have gone after lunch. The next morning, I left for work early. Needed to clear my head, get some space, tell myself I was overreacting. That there might be a perfectly reasonable explanation. That maybe I misread it all. But I couldn't let it go. Around lunchtime, I cracked. I stepped outside, dialed her number, and waited. She answered on the second ring, her voice calm and breezy like nothing was wrong. "Hey, babe," she said, the sound of wind or maybe passing traffic in the background. "Everything okay?" I forced a smile into my tone. "Yeah, just wanted to check in. How's your day?" "Busy," she said. "Just stepped out of a meeting. I'm grabbing a quick lunch with one of the project partners. We're starting a new client pitch this week. Crazy timeline." A pause. I took a breath. That wouldn't be the same partner from yesterday, would it? There was a beat of silence. Not long, but just long enough to tell me she was recalibrating. She laughed. Light. Dismissive. "Oh my God, wait. Did you see me yesterday?" Something like that. Another pause. I could practically hear the wheels turning in her head. "Ryan," she said in that playful, half-annoyed tone she used when she thought I was being dramatic. "You're not spying on me now, are you?" I didn't answer. She sighed. "That was just Marco. He's Italian. They're super touchy, it's just how they are. Trust me, if you ever meet him, you'll see, he hugs everyone. Even our CEO. It's kind of his thing. Right?" I said flatly. "I mean, come on." She chuckled. "You sound like a jealous teenager." She tried to turn it into a joke. Spin it into something light, something silly. But my chest was still burning. That little flick of anger that had started the day before hadn't gone out. It had just smoldered overnight, turning into this slow, sick heat under my skin. I didn't fight her on it. Not right then. I just said, okay, glad to know. And she took the out. Love you, she added quickly. Love you too, I said. Then I hung up and stared at my phone for a long time, as if it might tell me what the hell just happened. Like it might whisper the truth I already knew in my gut. The rest of the day I couldn't focus. Emails blurred into each other. Meetings went in one ear and out the other. I kept thinking about the way she laughed when I asked about the guy. The ease of it. The boldness. Like she'd already come up with a dozen explanations in case she got caught. Like I was just another minor obstacle to work around. That night, she got home a little late. Said the client meeting ran long. Kissed my cheek. Slipped off her heels. Poured another glass of wine like nothing was off. We had pasta. She told me a story about someone in the office who microwaved fish. I laughed in the right places, nodded, kept it together. But something had shifted. I wasn't looking at her the same way anymore. And she wasn't looking at me like she used to. That realization hit harder than I expected. Somewhere in the last couple months, maybe longer, the light in her eyes when she looked at me had faded. The excitement, the softness. It was like I'd become just background noise. A couch she came home to, a routine. And now I knew why. After dinner, she went upstairs to shower. I sat at the kitchen table, finishing my wine, staring at the little droplets on the side of the glass as they slid down. I thought about our first apartment, the one bedroom with the leaky faucet and the creaky floors. I remembered how she used to hug me from behind while I cooked, how she'd dance around barefoot in the mornings. That version of us felt like a different lifetime. Strange. You never expect to become the guy who gets cheated on. You hear stories, friends of friends, dramatic Reddit threads, some movie on Netflix, and you always think that would never be me. I'd see the signs. I'd handle it better. I'd walk away. But when it happens to you, it doesn't feel like a movie. It's quieter, slower, like drowning in molasses. Like being in a dream where you know something's wrong but can't move or scream. You just keep smiling through it, hoping it'll pass. Hoping you're wrong. I wasn't wrong. And now I couldn't unsee it. Later that night, I watched her scroll through Instagram in bed, legs tangled in the blankets, her face lit by that soft blue glow. She laughed at something on her feed. Probably a meme, maybe a message. I didn't ask. She glanced over at me, smiled. You good? She asked. I nodded. Yeah, just tired. She leaned over, kissed me, then turned back to her screen. And I lay there in the dark, staring at the ceiling again, wondering how long I'd been asleep in my own life. How long she'd been slipping away right in front of me. I knew one thing for sure. I wasn't going to be the fool for much longer. I just needed proof. That night I didn't sleep. Not just couldn't, didn't. I lay in bed beside Julia, her back turned to me, her breathing slow and even. Like she didn't have a care in the world. Like she hadn't just lied to my face and turned it into a joke. She shifted once around 2 a.m., muttered something about a draft, then pulled the comforter tighter around her. I stared at the ceiling in the dark, heart hammering like I'd had 5 cups of coffee, though I hadn't touched a drop since dinner. By 3 a.m., something broke loose in me, some tightly wound knot of hope or denial, and I stopped lying to myself. I needed to know. I couldn't play dumb anymore. I couldn't sit back and let her gaslight me into thinking I was paranoid. So when I heard the shower turn on, I moved. Her laptop was sitting on the dining table. She usually brought it home to finish work or review strategy decks. Whatever that meant. It was open, not asleep, just sitting there like it was waiting for me. She hadn't even locked the screen. It was almost too easy. For a second, I just stood there, staring at the soft white glow of her desktop, mouse cursor blinking lazily in the corner. My hand hovered over the touchpad. I hesitated. This was it. Crossing a line. Becoming the guy who snoops. But she'd already crossed that line. Hell, she'd sprinted past it. This wasn't about trust anymore, it was about truth. And if there was a chance that I was wrong, that I'd misread everything, I needed to know. I wanted to be wrong. I would have given anything to be wrong. I clicked. Her desktop was surprisingly tidy, just a few folders. One was labeled Q3_client assets. Another was D_review. But tucked between those, in plain sight, was one that stopped me cold. Personal. Not hidden. Not buried in some subfolder. Just there. I opened it. First, it looked innocent enough. A few old photos, beach trip from last summer, her birthday party, a couple selfies I vaguely remembered taking. But then I noticed something off. A subfolder labeled M. Just the letter. My stomach dropped. I opened it. The first image was taken at the sushi bar, the same table, same window, same outfit from the day I'd walked in. Only this time, Julia wasn't sitting across from Marco. She was in his lap. His arms were around her waist. Her lips were brushing his cheek. Felt like someone had punched me in the chest. I kept scrolling. Another photo, them in a hotel room. I recognized it immediately. There was a boutique hotel a few blocks from where she worked, kind of an artsy vibe, all mood lighting and velvet chairs. We'd stayed there once years ago when our plumbing was busted. Only this time, the candles weren't lit for me. The bed wasn't turned down for me. There were wine glasses on the nightstand, a bottle of Merlot, her heels on the floor, and her, in lingerie I didn't recognize, sitting on the edge of the bed with her arms around his neck. I should have stopped. My body was telling me to stop. My brain was screaming, don't look. Don't do this to yourself. But I couldn't stop. I clicked on a video file labeled Second time was even better, winky face. My hand shook as I hovered over the play button. I didn't watch the whole thing. I didn't need to. 5 seconds was enough. Started with her laughing, her voice soft, breathy. Then him, Marco, pulling her into the frame, kissing her shoulder. That was it. I slammed the laptop shut so hard the screen bounced. I stumbled back from the table like it had burned me. My heart pounding so hard I thought I might throw up. My mouth was dry. My hands were ice. And still, the sound of the shower ran upstairs, steady and oblivious. I looked around our house, our home, and everything felt suddenly foreign. The framed photos on the wall, the wedding picture by the stairs, her scarf draped over the back of the chair. It all looked staged, a lie, a cover. She was cheating on me, not flirting, not emotionally distant, not processing things. Full-blown, ongoing, premeditated cheating. The worst part wasn't even the betrayal. It was the effort she put into hiding it. The way she smiled at me while knowing what she was doing. The way she let me kiss her, let me cook for her, let me dream about kids and vacations and next anniversaries. All while sneaking off to hotel rooms with a man who wasn't me. And now I had the proof. Undeniable. Concrete. It wasn't a hunch anymore. Wasn't a guess or gut feeling. It was fact. When she came downstairs later, towel around her head, humming some tune under her breath, I was already back on the couch pretending to scroll through my phone. She kissed me on the forehead and said, "Babe, I'm exhausted. Tomorrow's gonna *CK. Can we crash early?" I looked up at her. This woman I'd once thought I'd grow old with, and said, "Yeah, of course." She smiled. "You're the best." And then she turned, walked upstairs, and left me alone in the dark with the sound of her bare feet on the hardwood floor. I sat there for a long time after that, not crying, not raging, just absorbing it, letting the truth settle into my bones. Something was over. I didn't know what the next move would be, not yet. But I knew, in that quiet, breathless moment, that I couldn't unsee what I saw, couldn't go back, couldn't keep pretending. Whatever came next, it wouldn't be about saving the marriage. It would be about saving myself. I didn't say a word the next morning. Not when she stumbled into the kitchen, half asleep, hair still damp from her late-night shower. Not when she kissed my cheek and muttered, "God, I feel like I didn't sleep at all." Not when she poured her coffee and asked if I'd seen her favorite scarf. I just smiled. Calm, cool, polite. I handed her the scarf. I made her coffee the way she liked it, 2 sugars, splash of oat milk. I even cut up a banana and put it in a bowl beside her travel mug like I always did. She didn't suspect a thing. That was the wild part. She had no idea. No guilt, no suspicion, not even a flicker of tension. She sat there on the edge of the couch, scrolling through emails and taking bites of her banana like it was any other Thursday. Like the night before hadn't happened. Like I hadn't watched a video of her tangled in another man's arms. Like she hadn't just detonated the foundation of our life together. She didn't know that I knew, but she was about to. She got up, started getting her things together. She was humming again. That same quiet tune she always hummed when she was distracted. A nervous tick I hadn't noticed in years. I asked her casually, "Got plans tonight?" She froze, just for a split second. Then, "Yeah, there's another work thing. Late dinner meeting with the client, the guy from the marketing team. Total nightmare. He wants to review everything before Monday." She said it so smoothly, so effortlessly. That lie wasn't new. She'd practiced it, probably used it more times than I knew. I nodded, took a slow sip of my coffee, then said, "At the same hotel?" She stopped moving, her hand, mid-air, still gripping the strap of her bag. "What?" she said, voice low, almost a whisper. I looked up at her and met her eyes. Really met them. Her face twitched, just slightly. Her mouth opened like she wanted to speak, but no sound came out. I repeated, setting my mug down. "Are you meeting him at the same hotel as last time?" Silence. Her face went pale. I walked over to the counter, opened the drawer, and pulled out a flash drive. I placed it on the table in front of her like it was a bomb I didn't need to detonate because it already had. Her fingers hovered over it, but she didn't touch it. "What is this?" she asked, but her voice cracked. That false confidence she'd been wearing like armor? Gone. I stepped back, crossed my arms. "You, with him, in bed," I said. "In a hotel, in your red lace set, in your lap at lunch. Every lie you told me? It's all right there." Her lips parted, like she was going to cry. For a second, I saw panic behind her eyes, but just as quickly, it shifted, hardened. She didn't reach for me, didn't drop to her knees, didn't cry or apologize. She got angry. "You went through my stuff?" she hissed, her voice rising. "Are you serious right now? You violated my privacy?" That was the moment everything fully shattered for me. Not the cheating, not the hotel, not even the video. This moment, this complete and total lack of remorse. I stared at her, not with rage, not even with sadness, just disbelief. "That's your takeaway?" I asked quietly. "You're mad I found out? Not that you did it." Her nostrils flared. "You had no right." "No," I said calmly. "I had every right. You gave me that right the moment you decided to lie to me, cheat on me, and pretend like nothing happened." She was pacing now, hands in her hair, muttering under her breath. "You don't get to act like the victim here," I said, my voice low, steady. "You've been living a double life for how long? 2 months? 3? And now I'm the bad guy because I finally opened my eyes. I made a mistake," she finally snapped, spinning toward me. "One mistake, Ryan." I laughed, cold, flat. "Which one was the mistake? The first time? Or the second time you said was better?" That shut her up. She stood there, mouth open, trembling slightly. "You've been checked out for months," I said. "I begged you to talk to me. I thought maybe it was work stress, or burnout, or us getting stuck in a rut. But no, it was him. It was always him." She tried to speak again, but I held up a hand. "Don't," I said. "Please, don't insult me any more than you already have." For a moment, it was dead silent in the kitchen. Just the hum of the refrigerator and the faint ticking of the clock on the wall. I stared at her, and all I felt was nothing. No sadness, no tears, just emptiness. Because whatever we had, it had died long before I found that folder. She just buried it so well, I didn't notice. She finally sat down at the table, her hands in her lap. "Ryan," she whispered. "What now?" I walked to the door, grabbed my jacket, and turned back to her one last time. "I'm going to work," I said. You should take the day to figure out where you're going to stay tonight. You're kicking me out? She said, voice rising. I'm not kicking you out, I replied. I'm just reminding you this isn't your home anymore. And then I left. I didn't slam the door, didn't yell or scream or break something. I just walked away, because there was nothing left worth breaking. After that morning, everything inside me shifted. It was like someone flipped a switch. The sadness, the disbelief, even the betrayal started to fade. Not completely, but enough to make room for something else. Something sharper, clearer, purpose. I wasn't broken anymore. I was done feeling sorry for myself. I was done second-guessing what I saw, what I knew, what I felt in my gut. I had proof. I had facts. And now I had one mission: to expose the truth fully. Not just for her, but for me. She wanted to make this about me snooping? Fine. Let's make it about facts then. Evidence. I wasn't going to yell or cry or throw plates. I was going to do the work. Quiet. Calculated. Complete. That same day, I started compiling everything. The photos. **TS. File timestamps. The chat logs. The location data synced to her Google account. Half the time, I didn't even have to dig that hard. She hadn't bothered to cover her tracks. She thought I'd never look. Thought I'd never question. Thought I was too trusting, too slow, too soft. She forgot I'm also meticulous. By the end of the week, I had enough documentation to build a case worthy of a courtroom. I had emails with the subject line, "Room confirmed for Friday." I had Uber receipts that started at our house and ended at that same damn hotel. I had photos of her and Marco outside a wine bar downtown, laughing like high school sweethearts while I was at home fixing the sink and wondering why she wasn't picking up her phone. And the best part? A series of messages she'd deleted from her phone, but not her laptop, that showed he wasn't the only one. Yeah. There was another guy. Different name, different city, different business trip, different weekend. That was the moment I realized. She wasn't in an affair. She was in several. That night I couldn't stop shaking. Not from sadness. From adrenaline. I stood in the living room, lights off, staring out the window while my laptop sat open behind me. A dozen tabs filled with betrayal blinking back at me. She messaged me around midnight. I didn't respond. Then came the calls. 4 in a row. I ignored everyone. Finally, a voicemail. Her voice hoarse, panicked. "Ryan, please just call me. Please. I messed up. Okay? I know I did. But we can fix this. I swear we can. I'll go to therapy. I'll do anything. Please don't shut me out." She was crying. I didn't feel bad. I didn't even feel much of anything at all. Because crying after you've torched the house doesn't unburn the walls. The next day I got an email. Not from her. From someone I didn't know. A guy named Daniel. Subject line: "I think you deserve to know." The message was short, polite, careful. "Hi Ryan, I apologize if this is out of line, but I believe we may be in similar situations. I've been seeing Julia for a few months. She told me she was separated. I just found out she's still living with you. I didn't know. I'm sorry." He attached photos. 3 of them. Julia in the same green coat she wore last week, kissing him outside a bookstore. Her hand on his chest. Her body language unmistakable. She was smiling in every single one. I stared at the images for a long time. They didn't even hurt anymore. They just confirmed what I already knew deep down. This wasn't about one mistake. Or even 2. This was a pattern. A life she'd built behind my back. She wasn't just cheating. She was juggling. And suddenly it all made sense. The weird nights. The phone calls from the car. The work trips. The constant need for space. For freedom. For me time. There wasn't just one other man. There were at least 3. Maybe more. I emailed Daniel back. Thanked him. Sent him a few **TS of my own. He replied a few hours later. "Holy **T. I had no idea. I'm done with her." We didn't talk again. But that was enough for me. Enough to know I wasn't crazy. That this wasn't just a rough patch or a moment of weakness. Julia was living a lie, and she was neck deep in it. From that moment on, my goal shifted again. I wasn't just after the truth. I wanted a reckoning. So I made a plan. I started gathering everything into one place, printed copies, organized folders. I backed everything up to multiple drives. If she ever tried to twist the narrative, if she ever claimed I was unstable or controlling or jealous, I'd have it all ready. She'd underestimated me. She thought I'd roll over, that I'd collapse under the weight of the betrayal. But she forgot something. When you push a good man far enough, he doesn't snap. He sharpens. Saturday came, and so did her lie. "I'm heading to Mom's for the weekend," she said, eyes steady. But I already knew. I tracked her phone. Same hotel. Same guy. With help from a friend, I booked a room right across the hall. Panoramic view of her window. I watched her arrive. Tight dress, lipstick, all smiles. 20 minutes later, I called their room. Put it on speaker. "Hey, Julia. Hope the room's comfortable. Don't forget to turn in the key. You don't live in my house anymore." Silence. Then chaos. She rushed to the window, spotted me. I stepped into view, held up a house key, and tossed it in the trash. She came running out minutes later, hair a mess, yelling my name in the hallway. But I was already gone. She showed up 2 days later, makeup streaked, begging. "Did you really end our marriage over one mistake?" I handed her the envelope. "Divorce papers." "You ended it," I said. "I just gave it a name." Tears streamed down her face. She promised therapy, begged for forgiveness, swore it meant nothing. But I'd heard it all before, twice. I didn't scream, didn't argue. I let her go. And when the door closed behind her for the last time, I didn't feel broken. I felt weightless. For the first time in years, I could breathe. I didn't just lose a wife. I got myself back.